Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm sharing my Sephora Vib sale recommendations. The majority of these things are clean at Sephora recommendations, but I also threw in a couple of my conventional beauty favorites in case you guys were curious. And also these recommendations, I really narrowed it down to my absolute favorite products from Sephora. Not just things that I'm like, okay, these are nice, I would use them again. These are like my ride or die. These are amazing products and I think they're all well worth your money. Before we start, if you guys aren't already subscribed, I would love to have you. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy at any point. Let's try to get this video to 350 likes. But let's get started on the makeup recommendations first. I also have some skincare and hair care stuff to share with you as well. Get a drink because this might be quite a long video, but it's going to be a good one. I'm going to share the recommendations in the order of how I would apply products to my face. So we're going to start with primers here. I have three. First off is the First Aid Beauty Coconut Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. I have mentioned this before a lot. I'm actually almost out of this. This is great if you want a moisturizing primer. It has a really pretty pearlescence to it, but it doesn't accentuate texture and it's not very like visibly shimmery on the skin, if you get what I'm saying. This is amazing. I think if you have oily skin, I mean, you might not love this because it is more on that hydrating, moisturizing side. But I think anyone from normal to more combo skin would enjoy this if you like having more of a glowy base for makeup. My next more dewy primer recommendation is the Lila B A Glow Priming Oil. This is a very glowy primer. I would say if you have dry to normal skin, you enjoy this, or if you just like a really sort of slippery base for makeup. It doesn't really look like it's an oil. It has the consistency and feel and look of an oil, but it's a very lightweight oil. It's not super heavy on the skin. It is just a great base for makeup if you usually have more dry patches or if you have drier skin in the winter. Getting into the summer months, again, if you have like normal to oily skin, you might not want to use this as a base because it is very, very moisturizing. But if you have dry skin, I think this would be a great primer. And finally, my mattifying recommendation is the Bite Beauty Changemaker Skin Optimizing Primer for normal to oily skin. This isn't a super mattifying primer, but it does have it has a lotiony texture to it, and it is a bit thick and doesn't really like dry down like a lot of mattifying primers tend to do, so I don't find that it's a drying mattifying primer. It's a really nice just in between, smooths out your pores and leaves a really nice balanced base for makeup if you have more normal to oily skin. Again, it doesn't control oil a ton, but it is just a really nice base, smoothing base for makeup. Moving on to foundations, I have four here I want to mention. First is the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. This is like an OG foundation favorite of mine. It's not something I would ever typically picture myself loving in terms of a formula, but it just looks so incredibly skin-like and beautiful on the skin. It has more of a dewy finish, but it also sets down really nicely. This is just something I always go back to. It always looks good on my skin. If you have textured skin, I think this is a great option. It has more, I would say, medium lighter coverage. It can be built up, but I just like am obsessed with the finish of this. I've never tried a foundation that comes close to looking as skin-like as this foundation does. So if you haven't tried this yet and think you would like the formula, obviously the sale is a good time to do so. Moving on to a foundation with a bit more coverage than that. This is the Bite Beauty Changemaker foundation. Different formula than the Ilia. It's a lot thicker. It does come in a tube. This one has a little bit more coverage than the Ilia one. The finishes are similar. This one is definitely not as dewy as the Ilia one. You can build this one up as well, which I think it's great. Another one that looks super skin-like and is just a great sort of everyday, more natural looking foundation. This one does have like a strong fruity-ish scent to it. I mean, the Ilia one has a bit of a scent to it as well, but just beware of those if you like are sensitive to scents, both of those. I think the Ilia one lingers less than the Bite Beauty one, but they do just have a smell to them. I have two full coverage recommendations. First is the Wander Beauty Nude Illusion Liquid Foundation. I use the shade Light Medium. By the way, for my shades for the other foundations, I have SF2 in Ilia, and then the Bite Beauty, I use L20. I will put them in the description below if you guys need to reference that. This foundation, their shade range really sucks. They really need to improve that. But I think the formula of this, again, is one of those that's really lightweight. It has full coverage. It does have this weird sort of doe foot applicator, which I actually don't mind because then I don't get my hand dirty with foundation. Really good amount of coverage. It's not like extremely full coverage, but it is definitely on the full coverage side if you need something like that. Lasts really well. It doesn't break up on my skin. Like this one lasts so well on the skin. Really amazed when I first tried it. So I would definitely recommend that one if you can find your shade in it. And then the last one is the Marc Jacobs. This is called their Remarkable Full Cover Foundation Concentrate. This was one of my favorite foundations in high school, and I just recently picked it up again because I wanted to try it out and see how I liked it. If you need a full coverage foundation, this stuff is no joke. When they say it's a foundation concentrate, it really is such an incredibly full coverage foundation. You need the tiniest amount of this. But if you want something that's, again, really full coverage, but also lasts an incredibly long amount of time, I've heard some mixed reviews on this on my skin type, which is normal to combo. It will literally last so long without breaking up. It just, the wear on this is insane. I actually used to wear this in high school, and I wore it to a sleepover at my friend's house one time, and I woke up in the morning. I used to sleep in my makeup. Please don't ever sleep in your makeup, but I used to. And I would wear this foundation overnight and then wake up in the morning and it would still look like I just freshly applied it, which is kind of insane. Don't sleep in your makeup. But if you do want a really nice long wearing foundation that is truly full coverage, you might want to check this one out. I feel like this isn't going to be for everybody. If you like more of like a natural dewy-ish type of look, I don't think this is going to be your forte. But if you do want something occasionally that's super full coverage and is going to last a really good amount of time, I would recommend the Marc Jacobs one for that. And this is the foundation I'm wearing today, by the way, and the shade is Bis Taupe. Moving on to concealers, I actually only have two that I would really recommend since Cover FX is no longer sold on Sephora, unfortunately, but I really do love their Power Play concealer. I have one for the under eye and one for spot concealing. My favorite for under eye is the True Skin Serum Concealer from Ilia. This is really good. I feel like I don't know why more people don't talk about this. For me, personally, under my eyes, it works so nicely. It's one of those really lightweight concealers, but it also has really good coverage and it doesn't crease. It's not too emollient either, so it doesn't slip around and sort of not set well. I just really love this. I also use this for spot concealing occasionally. You guys know my little trick for this is to leave it on for like 10 to 20 seconds. You get way more coverage out of it. This is really great. It's actually almost empty. I might have to pick up a new one myself for the sale. But the one I like for spot concealing, I do not like this under my eyes because it does crease. But as a spot concealer, it's really nice because it's on the hydrating side. It's the Kosas Revealer. This is the shade 02. If you can find a shade that works for you in this, I think it's a really great spot concealing concealer. It doesn't cling to dry patches too much. And it does just have a nice amount of coverage to it. I'm really picky with concealer. That's why I only have two recommendations. I would love to hear what your favorite concealers are below. Definitely let me know in the comments. For powders, this is another category I'm just extremely picky about. First is, if you watch my channel, you're like, obviously she's gonna recommend this. Ilia Soft Focus Finishing Powder. It makes you look super airbrush. It's the best powder I've ever used. Nothing has beat this for me so far, and I've tried a lot of powders. So if you do try one thing from the sale and you need a powder, I definitely recommend this powder. It looks so smooth under the eyes. Like, I don't know. I love this so much. And then another recommendation is just a really classic Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. I use this all over my face today, and I use the Ilia one under my eyes. This is another powder that just looks really smooth and nice on the skin. It doesn't irritate my skin. It does like have a little bit of a hint to it, so it's not completely translucent. So it's kind of weird. I'm not sure like what skin tones would be able to use this and sort of where the cutoff would be, because on me, I can't tell if it is translucent or it has a lot of tint because it is just so close to my skin tone. But I do like the formulation of that one. All right, moving into some fun goodies. Let's start with cream bronzers and then we'll move on to the other cheek products. But first is a product I just reviewed in my last video. This is the Tower 28 Bronzino in the shade West Coast, which is the lighter shade. If you like a more dewy bronzer, something that's really creamy and just applies beautifully on the skin, you would absolutely love this. It does have a dewy finish. It doesn't really set down, but it doesn't break up your makeup or get super oily throughout the day, which is some of my favorite qualities about this. And other Tower 28 products is they do have longevity to them, which I feel like is what a lot of cream products are missing. These are amazing. They also have a good price point, and I love the packaging. Definitely recommend this if you're a cream bronzer person. I also really enjoy the Milk Makeup. This is their baked bronzer stick. This is the mini. This compared to the Tower 28 one, this one is definitely more dewy and this one has shimmer in it. This one is matte. This also has a pretty dewy finish, but it's not as dewy as that one. It does set down a little bit more. Another one that just stays on the face really well, has a good amount of pigment, is blendable, goes nicely over foundation. If you wanted the mini size, this one's only like 15 bucks. I think it's actually really nice because it fits right into the contours of the face as opposed to the bigger one. But yeah, this is one of my favorite products from Milk Makeup I've tried. And I also have a contour recommendation. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Fawn Stick Contour. If you have a similar skin tone to mine and you need a contour, this one is amazing. It's so cool toned. It's almost gray, but it makes for a really nice contour shadow. I do have it on today. If you feel like it's a little bit too cool tone for you, you can always put it on under your makeup. They do have a bunch of other shades of these along with like highlighting sticks. I think the formula is nice. It does have coverage to it as well, which I really like because sometimes my cheeks, I want to have coverage and I don't really want like a sheer product to take away my foundation coverage. So I really enjoy how these do have coverage to them and they blend out really well and last beautifully throughout the day. Moving along to powdered bronzers, the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. I specifically love the shade Nude Bronze Light, but I'm sure any of the shades in this formula are beautiful. This is just perfect if you want something more glowy, but not something that's going to accentuate texture. It just is so finely milled. It looks so pretty on the skin. Really glowy without being obvious or like looking like you have bronzer on. I think the tone of this is great if you have a skin tone similar to mine. It is very light. So if you like a lighter bronzer, I think this would work for you. They do also have other shades of this as I mentioned, but this is just amazing. I always reach for this. Then I have a little contour highlight duo from Charlotte Tilbury. This is their Bronze and Glow. This is like a bronzer slash contour shade. It's very, very light. Like you can barely see that on my hand. So it'd be nice if you have a skin tone similar to mine. They do have a deeper shade. It's really buildable and natural looking. It's almost like if you want a contour, but you want to make sure that you're not going to mess it up. I feel like these are really nice formulas because they are just so user friendly. And then here's the highlight over here. Really pretty and soft powders. They blend into foundation nicely. I think the packaging is really luxurious looking too. I think these are really superior powder formulas. I feel like a lot of people talk about Charlotte Tilbury and it is more expensive. I think for good reason though, because their formulas are definitely unique to me. I did also want to give a quick mention to the Kosas, the Baked Bronzer in Light. This is similar to the Hourglass bronzer. It's a little bit lighter than that one though and has more warmth to it. It's a really pretty glowy formula. Again, doesn't accentuate texture or make anything look accentuated. I think this is pretty and would be a great product if you like more of an illuminating bronzer. Again, if you can find your shade in it. There's been some backlash about the shades they released, which I definitely agree with. I think a lot of brands actually need to work on their bronzer shade ranges and shade ranges in general. But let's go ahead and move on to blushes. I actually only have 2 blushes here. I guess I'm also picky with blushes. First is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in Mood Exposure. This shade, I love this so much. It's more of like a mauve-y, coolish tone type of blush. There's a shade on my hand there. Similar formula to the bronzer where it is just looks so pretty on the skin. It really gives your skin like a very realistic looking finish. I know that doesn't make sense because your face is like, it's real obviously, but it just looks a lot less flat than normal powders. That should make more sense. And then a cream option is the Tower 28 Beach Please Magic Hour tints. My favorite is the shade Magic Hour. Just a really pretty neutral pink. Again, similar to their bronzer formula. Super pigmented, really dewy. Does leave a dew on your cheek, but it doesn't wear off or lose its pigment throughout the day. And it also doesn't break down your makeup. So love this one. On to eyeshadow recommendations. First is the Aether Beauty, specifically their Solstice palette. I really love the tones in this. You guys know I love warm tones. I think it's really easy to create a look and these formulas are amazing. They're really pigmented and smooth and blendable. They're more of a soft formula, similar to the Anastasia Beverly Hills shadows where you do get some kickback, but they're just so blendable and pigmented that doesn't bother me at all. This one I specifically like. The rose quartz one, you might have heard me say this in other videos. I feel like it's really hard to put a look together with those. They're just so cool toned. But this one, and they also have like a couple other palettes if you wanted to check them out. I do recommend the formulas. Next, if you need like a really good basics palette, the Ilia Necessary palettes. This is the warm one. I also enjoy the cool one. That's a great cool palette because it's not too cool toned. It's very wearable. It has a really nice array of just warm tones. You get a mustard, a like peach, and then this deep burgundy with a matte brown. There is only 2 shimmer shades. Something else I really love about this palette, it's not overloaded with shimmers, light champagne, and just this medium gold. Really great basics palette. These are more of like a dry formula compared to the Aether ones, but they're still pigmented and they blend out really beautifully, and it's just something, it's just a basic for me, you know, something I always reach for. The eyeshadow palette I'm actually wearing today that I wanted to recommend is another product from Charlotte Tilbury. It's their new luxury color-coded eyeshadows, which are designed for specific eye colors, but of course you could just get whatever shade you want. This is the one for green eyes, I believe, called Mesmerizing Maroon. Really gorgeous tones. I do have a couple others of these. The Copper Charge is gorgeous as well. These are such a beautiful eyeshadow formulation. You do have 3 shimmers and then a matte in each palette. So what I used on my eyes today, I really like how cohesive these tones are. Like, you can really just get a super simple but beautiful Charlotte Tilbury-esque eye just using this palette, and they're very small and compact, so very travel friendly. And then I have a cream shadow recommendation. These are interesting. They're like a cream powder eyeshadow topper type of thing. It's the Rowan Beauty. This is the eyeshadow palette in Cool 52. I want to pick up their new one for sure. These are so interesting because they're like a cream, but they're a dry cream, and they do crease a little bit, but it's not in like an annoying type of oily way. It actually kind of looks cool. You could always just pat it out if you wanted to. They can be like a little bit chunky, but I think that's almost the point of them, is they just add a really nice texture to the lid. How I describe these makes them sound not good at all, but they are really gorgeous as eyeshadow toppers or on their own. I think they're just a really unique formula in clean beauty, and I recommend them if you like a cream, very textured type of just cool eye look. And then I have a single shadow here. These are the Hourglass Scattered Light, just called their glitter eyeshadows. This specific shade, Ray, is so gorgeous. These are similar to the Bodyography glitter pigments. This one's like a little bit more glittery. It has this light brown base with this really cool like purplish silver reflect in it, which I think is really cool against the warmth of the brown. Really pretty, pigmented. If you want just something to put all over the lid that just really takes your look to the next level, I think these are really pretty. Talk about lashes next. My mascara recommendation, I have 2 here. Ilia Beauty Limitless Lash. Best mascara, not even just a good clean mascara, it's like a good mascara in general. Like, out of all mascaras I've tried, this doesn't flake, it doesn't smudge, it gives such a pretty dramatic buildable look. You can have it be more natural, but you can also build it up. It just always looks good. I just absolutely love this. I think it's raved about for a reason. And then the Wander Beauty Mile High Club is also a great mascara. Not as dramatic as the Ilia one. The brush is definitely very different, a little bit more voluminizing, but one, again, that does not flake or smudge, and they wear extremely well. And then I want to talk about some lashes. First, I want to talk about the lash glue I use from Velour Lashes. It's called their lash adhesive. I think this is just the clear version. I think they also sell a dark version. That glue is nice. I used to use Duo a lot. Just as good as Duo. Has a really nice hold to it. I feel like it actually irritates my eyes a lot less than Duo. And then to go along with that, I love the new Velour Lash of the Day collection. I'm wearing a pair on my eyes now. The pair I'm wearing is called Go Viral. This collection is vegan and cruelty free, by the way. I don't think all of their lashes are vegan though. This specific one is. These do have a thicker band to them, which I was initially kind of scared of. If you haven't worn lashes a lot, you might see a thicker band. Think, oh, it's going to be really stiff and heavy on the eyes. But these ones are actually very lightweight and easy to apply. I kind of like how they have that thicker band because you don't necessarily need eyeliner with them. They're nowhere close to like an Ardell type of lash band where it's kind of just invisible and the lashes are attached to it. It does have a thin black line, but I think it just blends really nicely. And they're the most like user-friendly, sort of more dramatic lash that I've tried. So I would recommend checking out their Lash of the Day collection if you want some more dramatic lashes. All right, for lips, I have a couple of recommendations. Bite Beauty, Creamy, Power Move, lip crayons, whatever they're called. These are great, really easy, super pigmented. They last on the lips and don't like come off really easily. Really cool lipstick formula if you want something in a crayon form. I do love these. These aren't even the shades that I use the most. I will link my favorite shades below. I really love Cava, Leche, and I think Amaretto. I have a swatch video of every single one of these shades as well. If you were curious about any others, I will link that probably in the info card for you guys. Next is a lipstick I've been wearing all the time. I just sound like I was from New York. This is the Patrick Ta. What are these called? It's called their Monochrome Moment Silky Lip Creams in the shade She's Independent. These are similar to the Honest Beauty liquid lipsticks if you've tried them, where they aren't a super flat matte liquid lipstick. They're so extremely comfortable to wear, like it barely feels like you have anything on your lips. And it does dry down to a certain extent, but it doesn't dry super matte. I just really love the finish of it. I do have it on my lips today, topped with something else, but this shade is also just like so amazing. I feel like it goes with every single thing I put on my face, every eye look. I actually am going to pick up another shade of that specific formula. And my last lipstick recommendation are the Kosas lipsticks. This specific shade is called Vegas, which is what I have topped on top of this. These are actually pretty similar shades. Really classic, just neutral nude pink. I also really love Rosewater, which is a lot more pink and it has a more cool tone to it. I will link both of those below for you guys. Super creamy lipstick formula, not as like long lasting as the Patrick Ta one because it's just a classic lipstick, but really smooth, comforting on the lips, doesn't accentuate dry patches, and it's just a really simple classic lipstick. For lip gloss, of course, I want to mention the Tower 28 lip jellies. I also mentioned these in my previous video. Not sticky, super smooth. They almost feel like a lip treatment. They're very sheer, although they appear bright in the tube. These are just so good if you want like a juicy looking lip, but you don't like the feel of a sticky lip gloss. You would love these. Also a great price point. I think I'm gonna get a couple more shades. I want to get the clear one with the shimmer in it. It looks so pretty. And lastly for lip gloss, the Kosas Wet Oil Gloss. This is the shade Jellyfish. I really like this. It's similar to the Tower 28 ones. It doesn't really have any stick to it. Very similar to those where it just feels like a lip treatment. I just put a little bit on. Really great, just sheer pink shade that goes with everything. I usually keep this by my desk. Sometimes I use it just like as a lip balm to moisturize my lips. It doesn't last for the longest time, but that's kind of expected with like more lip treatment type of feeling lip glosses, is because they don't have that stick, they do tend to absorb into your lips. Get into hair and skincare next. I'm gonna start with hair care. First, I want to talk about the tools that I use on my hair. First is this set from Amika. I believe this is called the Jack of All Curls set. So you get the base, and then you also get 4 different sizes of curling wands. If you use wands, this is such an amazing set, totally worth it, because instead of having like a bunch of curling irons, you can just have one with different sizes. I usually use sometimes this tiny one's really good for creating waves. This one I would say is my most used. You can use these bigger ones for very loose curl. I just think that curling irons are really great quality, heats up really fast, heats evenly, doesn't cause any problems. I think definitely worth the set if you curl your hair a lot. And if you don't prefer to use a wand, I like the T3. I'm not sure what the set is called, but it's the one that is not a wand. It's actually like a clip iron. This one I use, again, if I don't want to use a wand. I actually use this in combination with the Amika one a lot. This one is sort of just to add like a base volume. It's what I have in my hair today. I did this and then the smallest Amika one, just to add more texture to it and just so it looks a little bit more natural. Really great curling iron, heats up super fast. My only complaint with this is like my hair sometimes gets stuck at the very base of it, but could just be how I'm using it. But I think the barrel is definitely very smooth and evenly heats your hair. I feel like I do notice less damage in my hair when using this, just because I feel like I don't have to keep holding it there, because it curls your hair very quickly so you're not sitting there really burning your hair. So I do really enjoy this and I think it's worth the money as well. We'll start with the shampoo. The Playa Everyday Shampoo is amazing just for an everyday shampoo. Very volumizing, Smells like the beach. I absolutely am obsessed with the smell of these Playa products. They smell so good. I want a perfume from them. Please, Playa, make a perfume with this scent. Really basic, great shampoo. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's voluminizing, makes my hair smell good, and rinses out well, cleans my scalp without being over drying. And then if you have like a bit more of an oily scalp or just like something more of a deep cleanse, the Briogeo Scalp Revival Charcoal and Coconut Oil Micro Exfoliating Shampoo is a really great option. It has like this jelly consistency. It does have some little exfoliators in it. It's very fine though. It feels so nice on your scalp. Just really work it into your hair, and it has really nice minty smell. Another one that is voluminizing as well. I feel like I just said as well like 4 times in that sentence. For conditioner, another product from Briogeo, their Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioning Mask. I've gone through several tubs of this. It's very like moisturizing and hydrating, but it's not a super heavy mask either. It sort of just has a regular conditioner consistency, which I really love about it. It seeps into my hair. I feel like I don't have to use a ton of it, having long hair, to be able to get the results that I want. It just makes my hair so manageable, and I could brush through it. And it definitely helps with how healthy it looks. And for leave-in treatment, I really like, what is this brand called? Together Beauty. It's their leave-in conditioner. This is another product that smells so good. A lot of great clean hair care from Sephora. This is a nice lightweight treatment. It doesn't weigh my hair down. It makes my hair really manageable and easy to brush through. I use this in damp hair, but sometimes I use a little bit in dry hair as well, just before I style it if I need some more smoothing. But I think this also protects from UV damage. Yeah, so it is a heat protectant as well if you wanted to use it as such. And another product from Playa, oh my god, this is so good. New Day Mist 3-in-1 Style Refresh. I went to use this morning and already brought it down, and I was really disappointed. Oh my god, the smell of this is literally so good. This is an interesting concept. It's like a style refresher, so say like I slept in these curls and I want to like touch them up. When you spray this in your hair, it sort of just like makes the shape less frizzy. It just holds the shape together a little bit better, and it just makes your hair look refreshed like the name suggests. Kind of a hard concept to explain what it does to your hair, but it just says perfect for removing dents from hair ties or creases for sleep when you blow out intact. Oh, while keeping your blowout intact. So yeah, if you just like wake up and you have creases in your hair or something happened overnight that you want to reset, great product for that. And then 2 dry styling products, the Briogeo Scalp Revival. This is the non-aerosol dry shampoo. Love this. Gone through several of them. Just is really good at absorbing oils, and it doesn't leave any white residue in my hair. And then I also enjoy the Briogeo Blossom and Bloom Ginseng and Biotin Voluminizing Root Powder. If you have a flat hair, just one of those powders you can put on your roots and zhuzh it up, and it does give you an insane amount of volume. I don't use this a ton. I'm really weird about textures of voluminizers in my hair. I don't like that like chalky feeling. This one I feel like is the best out of all of them I've tried in terms of that feeling, but just like go light-handed with it. Lastly, for skincare, I don't have a ton of recommendations, but I do have some products I really love. The First Aid Beauty Weightless Liquid Mineral Sunscreen. This is the best mineral sunscreen I've ever tried. I was previously using the Drunk Elephant one, and compared to this, that one literally sucks. The white cast takes so long to like blend into your skin, and it's also extremely dewy. Like even if you had dry skin, I feel like that one's just so dewy. It just like did not go well under makeup at all. This one is extremely lightweight, and it does have a bit of a tint to it, but I feel like it blends in nicely. Like I just love the texture of this. If you gave this to me and I tried it, I would be like, that is a chemical sunscreen consistency. I was like, there's no way you'd get a mineral sunscreen to be this thin and like beautiful under makeup, but really home run with this sunscreen. Definitely recommend it. Onto serums, I have a couple here I love. First is the Ordinary Niacinamide and Zinc. Amazing price on this. This is the bigger size, 2 ounces. I believe it's like 10 bucks. The 1 ounce is around $5. I do notice that this has improved my texture. It's not completely getting rid of my texture, which, I mean, that's not usually a realistic goal in skincare. I know I just naturally have more textured skin. It did smooth out the majority of my skin, and I think it's a great affordable product. For my exfoliating serum lately, I've been really enjoying the Pharmacy Honeymoon Glow. This is an AHA based resurfacing night serum. I also use the Paula's Choice one, but they don't have that on Sephora. This is just a great serum if you prefer a serum for your exfoliating. It doesn't irritate my skin. I am pretty sensitive to acid exfoliators, and this one is really gentle and it's effective, so that's like all I could ask for skincare. I have the Edible Beauty Turmeric Beauty Latte Serum here, which is a clear and brighten serum. I use this for my acne scarring, and I really love the consistency of this. All the serums I mentioned do not pill on me. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate when I have products that pill. It's like the worst feeling that's ever happened to you. You guys know what I'm talking about. But it's really lightweight. It almost has like a hyaluronic acid type of jelly consistency. Just feels really nice on the skin and absorbs well and goes well with all of my other products. Lastly, I have 3 different mask recommendations. First is the Herbivore Prism 20% AHA plus 5% BHA exfoliating mask. If you do prefer a mask alternative to exfoliating, I really like this one. It has a really cool like gel consistency and is really gentle on my skin. I don't get a ton of irritation with this one, but it is still extremely effective. So I really enjoy that one from Herbivore. And then another option for a exfoliating mask is the Ren Glycolic Acid Radiance Renewal Mask. This is one I've been using for a while. This has definitely a thicker consistency. It almost feels like honey on your face. Another one that doesn't irritate my skin but does a really good job. I think I prefer the Herbivore one a little bit better. I feel like it just does more exfoliating, but this one is great too. And lastly, I wanted to mention like a hydrating mask. This is the Naturally Serious Hydra Plumping Mask. It has like a clay base to it, but it's a hydrating clay mask, which is I think really interesting. You don't really see a ton of products like that. I used this morning. Really nice if you want something before makeup just to like make your skin really smooth and balanced and happy. I think this would be great for any skin type because it's not like overly moisturizing and it doesn't dry your skin out either. So I just think this is a unique mask in my collection and I reach for it a lot. Alright guys, that was it for my VIB sale recommendations. I will probably also add a couple more recommendations below. Like I forgot to mention a cleanser. I'll add a couple more foundation and base products for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up. And I would love to know in the comments below what products you picked up in the sale or what you plan to pick up if you do decide to shop anything from the sale. But thank you guys again for watching and I will see you in my next video.